For the preparation, you have to read all the lessons thoroughly. While reading, concentrate on the important sentences, characters, events, important dates, names of places, etc. Make notes and keep the important words underlined. Star point all the important sentences. Well, while reading a poem, try to learn the summary of the poem, concentrate on important words, sentences, and try to learn the theme of the poem. Well, in non-detailed section, you have a choice. Now, let us go through a model question paper. As you already know, the marks are 100 and the time allotted will be 3 hours. This is first language English for SSLC students. First one, part A, prose, poetry and non-detail. First question, answer the following questions in a sentence each. There are 4 questions carrying 1 mark. So, 4 marks. Now, there will be 4 questions you have to answer in a sentence. Let us look at one example. When was the male saurus crane shot? So this is from a pair of saurus. The male was shot in the morning. He was necking to pull out the reluctant sun from the rim of the horizon. So let us look at the other questions also. The writer calls the catchy phrase "shop till you drop" as apt and ironic. Why? Apt means right, appropriate. So this is from the consumerist culture. You have to remember and write down the answer. Next question. What does the expression "things standing" suggest in the poem Vachana? Next question. How was the dead bird handled by the killers? As you already know, the bird was handled mercilessly. It was picked up by hands and jaws. It was left to lie like a dirty linen. Second question. Answer the following questions in 2 to 3 sentences each. This question carries 16 marks, 8 carrying 2 marks. Let us look at one example. Why did Otto Frank decide to migrate to Netherlands? Give 2 reasons. Here you have to write an answer giving 2 reasons. The correct answer is Otto Frank decided to migrate to Netherlands because Hitler was issuing one anti-Jewish decree after another, and the second reason is Netherlands was a hospitable place. Hospitable means friendly, generous. Let us look at the other questions. What negative impact will the free market economy have on our country? Again, this is also from the consumerist culture. Next question. Why do the vagabonds go back to the bakery after eating the pie? This is from the lesson Pie and the Tart. Next question. What message do the last 2 lines of the poem Vachana convey? You have to remember from the poem and write. Next one. The severed thumb was on the sword. There was no tear in Buttu's eye. Why? Next question. How did Ellen express her love towards Lochinvar? This is from the poem Lochinvar. Next question. Why did Kripacharya object to Karna joining in the battle? This question is taken from the non-detailed part. Next question. How did Ulysses introduce himself and his group to the Cyclops? So for these questions, you have to remember correctly and write the answers. Question number 3. Answer the following questions in 5 to 6 sentences each. Here you have 5 questions carrying 3 marks. 15. First one. How was Louis Pasture described by someone who saw him in his old age? This is from the lesson Louis Pasture. You have to remember and write down. Well, someone who saw him in his old age described him saying that he was looking weary with deep lines on his face. The skin and beard were looking white. His hair still thick and nearly always covered with a black cap. The broad forehead wrinkled, marked with the lines of aging. The mouth slightly drawn by paralysis, but full of kindness. Above all, his eyes had a flash of liveliness. Next question. What does C.V. Raman say about rain-fed tanks? You should remember, he said they were common in South India. Sadly, they were neglected in their maintenance. When in rains, they were the cheering sight. Next question. How did the narrator and the girl try to prove to each other as normal human beings? Next question. What was the result of the attack of the pirates on the stockade? This is taken from the non-detailed part. Next one. How does nature and the hunters disturb the stone on the wall? This is from the poem Mending Wall. Fourth question. Explain the following statements with reference to the context. Here you have 4 questions which carry 3 marks. 4 into 3, 12 marks. Let us look at the first question. Don't you like me just as well anyhow? Well, this sentence has been taken from the lesson The Gift of the Magi. Here, after the haircut, Della is worried whether her husband would like her the same way as before. When he says, "Have you cut your hair?" at that time, Della says these words. So this sentence has to be referred from the particular paragraph and you need to write the correct answer. Next question. Only some more work from your hands. Can you recall? This is from the first lesson. A wrong man in a worker's paradise. Next. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. This is taken from the poem Sonnet 73. Next question. For all her love, she cannot tell whether I use it ill or well. Well, this is taken from the poem CLM, written by John Masefield. Fifth question. Answer the following questions in 6 to 8 sentences each. This is an essay answer. You have to remember the lesson and then answer correctly. Let us look at one of the questions. What arguments does Gandhiji give to justify that a moral act should be free from fear and compulsion? Here you have a choice. Or, how did the German audience respond to the tragic play of Anne Frank? When you have a chance to opt a question, try to choose correctly. Whichever answer is easy for you, try to attempt that. So if you opt to write the first question, then you can take the examples of these sentences. For example, if I rise early, out of fear that if I rise early, I will be early to the office. If I rise late, I will be late to the office and I may lose my situation. Second reason, an employer paying to his employees lest they leave the office. But same thing, if he pays them good salaries, thinking that he owes them his prosperity. So this way you have to remember and write the answer correctly. Next question. Describe the collision of the fielders in their enthusiasm to catch the ball. Or, why are the gifts of Della and Jim compared to those of the Magi? Next question. Describe any 10 values that Abraham Lincoln wants the teacher to teach his son. Or, write an appreciation on the poem To a Pair of Sorrows Crane. So you have to write the summary of the poem appreciating according to the point of the view of the poet. Next question. To Wordsworth, nature was a living person. Pick out any 5 details from the poem to support this. Or, why did Bhattu have to learn archery by himself? What was the reply of Bhattu when Dronacharya asked for his due? Sixth question, quote from memory. Here, you need to learn the poems by heart, and a stanza is given to you, which you are asked to quote from the memory. This carries 1 into 4 marks. Here, 2 poems have been given. You have to select one. First one is, and it too was mine. Or, he stayed, came late. So the first one is from the poem A Poison Tree. Second one, he stayed, came late. This is taken from the poem Lochinvar. Whichever is easy for you, you can attempt the one. Part B, Grammar and Vocabulary. Now here, 4 alternatives are given for each incomplete statement. Question. Choose the correct answer and write its alphabet along with the answer on the lines provided. Here, these questions carry 10 into 1, 10 marks. So read all the options thoroughly and select the correct one. Write the alphabet and also the answer on the line given there. First question. Listen carefully. Intense thirst carried away Nakula. The passive form of the sentence above is. Option A. Nakula was carried away by intense thirst. B. Nakula is carried away by intense thirst. C. Nakula had been carried away by intense thirst. D. Nakula was being carried away by intense thirst. Now, first let us understand. There are 2 voices, active voice and passive voice. Intense intense thirst carried away Nakula. So intense thirst is the subject. Carried what? Nakula. So Nakula is the object. Well, the word carried is in the past tense. So the correct passive form will be Nakula was carried away by intense thirst. So because the verb is in the past tense, you have to write Nakula was. If the noun is in the plural form, you will write the noun with were. For example, the students, then were. The students were carried away by intense thirst. So in past tense, if the noun is in singular, you will write was. If the noun is in plural form, you will write were. So here the first option is correct. Question number 2. With dash doctor's advice, he had dash X-ray taken. The appropriate articles in the blanks are. You know very well there are two kinds of articles, an and the. Well, an are used for single nouns, countable nouns. The can be used for singular or plural. Well, before using article A, we have to see the consonant alphabet or consonant sound. And for an, we have to see the vowel alphabet or vowel sound. And we use the for proper nouns but not names. We use the before superlatives, before famous names, scriptures, rivers, mountains, and the group of states. So here, with the doctor's advice, he had an X-ray taken. So X starts with a vowel sound. So we use the article an. So while solving these kind of questions, you have to read all the options thoroughly. Question number 3. The burglars dash our neighbor's house yesterday night. The correct phrase to be used in the blank is, the options are break into, B, broke into, C, took into, D, broke up. The correct answer is broke into, because the burglars dash our neighbor's house yesterday night. So that is the past thing. So the correct answer is broke into. Here they have broken the door open and entered into the house. So the correct answer is broke into. Next question. He was suspected dash having stolen the book. Now here some words are given. First option of, B, with, C, over, D, from. So here you have to select the correct preposition. He was suspected of having stolen the book. So the option A is correct. Next question. He is never late for the classes. The question tag to be added is option A, doesn't he? Option B, is he? Option C, does he? Option D, isn't he? Well, let us look at the question once again. He is never late for the classes. The correct question tag is, isn't he? Well, here you have to see the person and then helping verb. Well, while answering the correct question tags, you have to see the person and the helping verb. If there is no helping verb, you have to find out the modal verb. And if there is no modal verb, underline the main verb. Let us look at the examples. She is busy. Now the person is she. The helping verb is E. And this is in the positive sense. You have to make the negative of it. For example, she is busy. The correct answer is, isn't she? If the question is like this, she is not busy, then you have to change it into positive. She is not busy. The question tag will be, is she? Well, let us look one example with the modal verb. She can win. The person is she. And the modal verb is can. Now change it into negative. She can win, can't she? If the question is, she can't win, the correct answer is, can she? Well, let us take the example of main verb. She writes well. Well, change the whole sentence into negative. She writes well. She doesn't write well. The correct answer is, doesn't she? Let us look at one more example. They come here daily. Change this into negative. They don't come here daily. The correct answer is, don't they? Let us look at one more example. She worked hard. The main verb here is in the past tense. So now the correct question tag will be, didn't she? Next question. Della and Jim were made for dash. The options are one another, B, each other, C, the other, D, one other. Now the correct answer is each other. Della and Jim were made for each other. Next question. Very few scientists were as great as Dr. Homi Bhabha. The comparative degree of the sentence is option A. Dr. Homi Bhabha was one of the greatest scientists. B. Dr. Homi Bhabha was greater than any other scientist. C. Dr. Homi Bhabha was greater than most other scientists. D. No other scientist was as great as Dr. Homi Bhabha. Well, let us look at the question. Very few scientists were as great as Dr. Homi Bhabha. As great as. This shows that this is in the positive degree. We have to make it into comparative degree. In comparative, great will become greater. But here, very few scientists were as great as Dr. Homi Bhabha. The correct option is C. Dr. Homi Bhabha was greater than most other scientists. Now let us look at one more example. She is one of the best girls in the class. Well, the comparative degree will be she is better than most other girls in the class. The positive degree will be very few girls are as great as her. Next question. Her voice had a sparkle of a mountain. The figure of speech used in the line is options A. Personification, B. Oxymoron, C. Irony, D. Metaphor. Well, we use figures of speech to make the language more beautiful. Here, her voice is compared with sparkle of a mountain without using like, as or so. So here, this is metaphor. The correct answer is metaphor. What is a metaphor? Metaphor is used to compare two persons or two objects without using as, like or so. It's a direct comparison. Let us look at one more example. Love swells like the Solway. Well, here we are comparing love with the river Solway by using like. So when we compare two persons or two objects with the help of like, so or as, this is called as simile. Next question. The test dash much easier than I dash first. The correct form of the verbs to be used here is option A, had been, had thought. B, was, thought. C, is, have been thinking. D, was, had thought. Now you have to understand the test dash much easier than I dash first. He has already written the test. So the test was much easier than I had thought. In the first dash, past tense is correct. In the second is I had thought first, past participle. So the option D is correct. Next question. The girl wearing a green frock is my neighbor. The question to get the underlined words as answer is. So you have to frame the question. Already 4 options have been given here. You have to select the right one. Option A, who is your neighbor? B, which girl is your neighbor? C, who is that girl? D, who is wearing a green frock? Now, concentrate on the underlined words. Wearing a green frock. The girl wearing a green frock is my neighbor. The correct question will be, who is your neighbor? Option A is the right answer. 8th question. Observe the relationship in the first pair of words and complete the second pair accordingly in the following. Here 4 questions carrying 1 mark. So 4 marks. First one, power, empower. Well, here the relationship is noun and verb. So another word is given to you, symbol. You have to change it into a verb. Symbol is noun. The verb form will be symbolize. Second, steady, study. So here seen is given to you, S-E-E-N. So the same sounding word will be S-C-E-N-E, seen. Homophones. Now next, barren, fertile. So this is the opposite word. Now here diffident is given to you. The opposite word of diffident is confident. Now next word is agile, active. The synonym of agile is active. Now the synonym of menace is threat, hazard. Next question, rewrite as directed. Combine the following sentences into a simple and compound sentence. The first question is, they finished the work, they went home. Now you have to change this into simple sentence. Having finished their work, they went home. Compound will be, they finished their work and they went home. Next question. Rewrite as an exclamatory sentence. This is a difficult question. Now to change it into exclamatory sentence, this can be written as, oh, what a difficult question is this. Next question. Change into indirect speech. Well, there are 2 types of speeches, direct and indirect. In direct, we have the person's own words put in brackets and you can see a comma after the person has said. When you change into indirect, a person tells something, another person hears it, and he tells it to another person. Reported speech. Indirect speech is also known as reported speech because we report the words we hear from one person to the other person. Change into indirect speech. Let us look at the question. Radha said, I am doing my homework. Well, the indirect speech would be, Radha told that she was doing her homework. Let us look at one more example. Here, you need to see the type of the sentence. There are simple, interrogative, exclamatory, and imperative sentences. While changing from direct to indirect, you have to look at the persons, look at the helping verbs, modal verbs, and sometimes the main verbs also. And you already know that the adverbs also change. For example, here becomes there, now becomes then, today becomes this day, tomorrow becomes the following day, yesterday becomes the previous day, like this. Let us look at one more example. She said, do you see any animals here? The correct indirect speech would be, she asked whether I saw any animals there. Next question. He said, oh, what a nice color it is. The correct reported speech would be, he exclaimed that it was a nice color. Is becomes was. So usually the helping verbs, modal verbs, and the main verbs are written in the past participle form. Next example. She said, please get me some water to Mohan. Well, this is in the imperative form. The correct answer will be, she requested Mohan to get some water. Next question, part C, composition and comprehension. 10th question, write an essay on any one of the following topics. This carries 5 marks, 1 into 5, and you have 3 choices. Let us look at one example, role of youth in rural reconstruction. Well, to write an essay, you have to have good vocabulary, good ideas, and you need to know how to construct sentences. So you should make 3 parts to write an essay. First one is introduction of the topic. Second is elaboration or writing in detail. Third is conclusion. You have to take the topic, write the meaning of it, and enumerate it, and then conclude. 11th question, letter writing. Again, you have choice here. You have 2 letters. One is official and one is personal. You know that while writing official letter, you need to write from address, then date, to address, subject, and start with respected sir or madam. Then write the body of the letter. Then thanking you, yours sincerely, truly, faithfully. If you are writing a letter to your headmaster, principal, or your teacher, you have to write sincerely or obediently. While writing personal letters, you have to write the to address and start with dear brother or dear father. Then you have to write the salutation, then body of the letter, then conclusion. End the letter with yours loving brother, sister, or father. And try to see that all these columns should be on the left hand side. From address to address, thanking you, and yours sincerely, faithfully, or truly. All these must come on the left hand side. Now the last question is, read the following passage carefully and answer the questions that follow. Again, this carries 5 marks. Here, an unknown passage is given. You have to read the passage carefully. And to save time, while reading the passage, keep a pencil ready with you and underline the important words and sentences. So, it will be very easy for you to identify or to find out the answers quickly. So, read the passage thoroughly, try to understand, and then solve the questions. Well, with passion, patience, and perseverance, you can learn any subject or language perfectly, and you can solve all the questions correctly. All the best.